The HomeTech podcast is supported by you. To find out more, go to HomeTech.fm/support.
This is the HomeTech podcast for Friday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. From Denver, Colorado, I'm Jason Griffin.
And from Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson. Happy Valentine's Day.
Indeed. What are your plans, Seth?
Big plans, romantic plans. We texted my wife earlier in the week. I'm like, hey, you wanna get a babysitter line up? You wanna go see a movie? And she's like, yeah, but I'm only gonna go to the one place, like the dinner. I don't know, you guys have these. I'm pretty sure you do in Denver. Like it's a dinner theater, and there's only like 30 seats. And after 6 o'clock, there's like it's only 21 and up, and you can get an adult-sized beverage at an unreasonable price, and the tickets are just insanely expensive. So she's like, we can only go to this one place.
Definitely got those.
And I'm like, all right, cool. That solves a whole lot of problems because it's all in one. It's an all-in-one package. You get the drink, you get a nice meal, you can get and watch a movie. Perfect. So I get on and I'm like, what movies do they have? 1917, which looks like an awesome movie, but that's that war movie thing. That
yeah.
So that one was out. Like that was out instantly. Yeah.
Maybe not for Valentine's.
We were watching the Oscars, and she said, "I have no desire to see that movie." I'm like, okay, so that one was out, and then Sonic the Hedgehog was the other offering.
Sonic the Hedgehog. I was going to say, why don't you just ditch the movie and go see like Paw Patrol on Ice?
Nah, but it's Bad Boys. We're seeing Bad Boys, the Martin Lawrence reboot with Will Smith. Yeah, so that's going
nice.
down. We're seeing Bad Boys. Yeah,
so romantic. Such a charmer.
She'll get some Prosecco and some popcorn, and and I'll get a nice little gin-based drink, and we'll go from there.
Indeed. Cool. Well, yeah, my wife and I are going to do babysitter and dinner out as well, so that'll be nice. It's a rare treat for us these days, so definitely looking forward to that, and hope everyone listening is having a great Valentine's Day as well. Happy Valentine's Day to you and yours. But Seth, I think we got less romantic matters to jump into here.
Yeah, and just one more quick thing. If you didn't know it's Valentine's Day today and you're listening, it's Valentine's Day today and you're listening, like it's... Don't forget.
You got some work to do.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. May already be too late. All right, Seth, well, what do you say we jump in to some HomeTech headlines?
Let's do it. Big show going over in Amsterdam this week. ISE giving us plenty of headlines to go off. Wait, not much news out of ISE this week. We got a couple of stories to hit on.
Cue the crickets.
Yeah. It's been really quiet this week. ISE is not like Cedia, right? Like ISE is mostly commercial, I would say, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I've always found ISE to be a little bit of a tough show to cover from a distance.
Right.
Because I think because it's such a big show.
Mm-hmm.
There's commercial and Pro AV, and there's definitely home tech mixed in there. But I think when you're here stateside trying to cover it just through what you read in the headlines, it's a little bit of a tough show. So we do have a couple of stories we're going to tee up. But, yeah, we're going to look to get a couple industry colleagues I know that are over there on site. And I think, maybe next week we can get someone on to talk about their key takeaways. But I'm with you, Seth. I haven't seen a ton come across in the headlines that's really jumped out at me.
Yeah, it's been kind of shocking. I don't know if it's been shocking. Like maybe the resi companies have gone over there and said, this really isn't the most opportune time for us to get a message out with all this other news going on. Because it does look like there's some things that are happening on the commercial side. If you were running a TV studio or something like that you may have some interesting things pop up in that space.
Or maybe, Seth, I have a theory on this.
Yeah?
Maybe we just need Julie Jacobson to come out of retirement.
That's what it is, yeah. The coverage is horrible, right?
She could cover some ground.
She was a fast woman. If you ever saw her at the show, you didn't see her for long because she was in and out of booths and gone.
That's right.
With her pad. She'd take a picture on one of those old little cameras. Not a cell phone, it was a camera. And then she'd be gone. And that was it. That's the only that's my memories of Julie at most of the shows I saw her at.
That's right. All right, well let's jump into what we do have. What do you say?
One thing I saw, Samsung was showing off a full range of displays with the HDR 10 Plus high dynamic range standard and 100% color volume. So Nice displays. They were available in a choice of 65, 75, 82, and 98. So these are big screen sizes. The displays are also capable of producing 2,000 nits of brightness. So bright HDR screens. And guess what, Jason? They're 8K QLEDs.
Got to have those Ks.
Yeah, you need them all. While these are actually targeted for digital signage. Like this is the commercial side of things. I think this is usually a pretty good indication where the company is going to be moving in the resi space for the future. But these are solid screens. These are premium screens, right? Because 65, 75, 82, and 98, 8K TVs, 2,000 nits. These are going to be probably pretty pricey, I suspect. And we'll see this technology kind of like whittle its way down into consumer products later on.
Yeah, agreed. Impressive looking display technology, and like you said, always kind of an indicator of where things are headed, both in the consumer market. And then I always think of like really, really high end residential, the uber high end, when they do really, I've seen lots of very creative applications of digital signage type technology in that space as well. So interesting to see.
They have that wall thing too, right?
Yep.
Like the wall. Yeah. And guys in our industry like drool over that thing. And I'm like, but why? Why would you ever put that in a house? But people do. People see that and they say, I want the 587-inch wall screen thing in my house.
Give me the most expensive thing you've got.
Yeah, never mind that I'm going to need like 3 air conditioning units to cool that thing down and keep it properly ventilated. But 583-inch 8K wall. They have a 437-inch and a 292-inch 4K, 219 and 292-inch 4K displays. So, you can get pretty much any size Samsung TV you want.
Indeed.
Within reason. 583,
Details.
Yeah.
Moving on here, ISE 2020, Crestron has unveiled its new MC4-R 4-series control system. This is designed to meet the needs of small to mid-size homes and MDU installations. The MC4R is powered via PoE and has a full complement of built-in control ports and includes the Infinite EX wireless gateway. So this looks like a nice option for those smaller units. They mentioned MDUs specifically. I know the high-end condo market is doing pretty well here in Denver and certainly in many other markets. So this looks like a nice option for Crestron dealers. They also itemized out the latest features, and I don't know how many of these are new versus how many of them are ongoing, but they itemized some of the things that you would see at the ISE booth from Crestron Home. So things like smart TV support, direct access to streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, things like that from Crestron screens and remotes, enhanced UX for access of control elements like garage doors, gates, and door locks, support for pool and spa, live camera monitoring, password protective sensitive subsystems, support for Google Assistant, and a few others. So, it looks like Crestron continues to develop the now so-called Crestron Home platform, and I think that's good to see, Seth. There's been some speculation over the last couple of years about their commitment to the residential channel, but they're continuing to invest.
Yeah, and this is good to see. Some of these things are like table stakes, right? Like garage door gates, door locks. You would expect a home control system to support those kind of things in the year 2020, and I guess they're just enhancing the user experience to those. So it's always good to get new features. I like it. A good update. Yeah.
There's a last thing here, a quote from John Clancy, VP Residential. We're committed to applying the full force of our unparalleled engineering resources and expertise to make Crestron Home the best smart home experience in every way. Again, that's John Clancy, VP of Residential. And I know he was brought in around the time where Crestron had pulled out of CDR. It was after that, but kind of breathed some new, I think, faith from the residential channel into Crestron, and he's been a big advocate for residential and seems to be doing great work. So good to see.
Yeah, I think, wasn't he president or CEO of one of the larger Crestron dealers?
Yeah, I believe so.
I want to say somewhere in the Northeast. Yeah. So he's a good, what do they call him? A good
advocate.
There you go. Thank you. He's a good advocate for the resi side of things. So that's good to have him on board because they keep doing good stuff, good work.
Yep.
Well, we get good news. We got some bad news here. Lumastream is one of the early leaders in low voltage lighting for home and business. Filed a Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection on February 5 in the Middle District of Florida, Tampa Division. Hey, it's just right up the road there. They're based right in St. Petersburg.
Your neck of the woods. That's right.
The company eliminated most of its staff for the reorganization, paring the headcount from 20 down to 6. Wow. And it says, here's a quote from Lumastream CEO George Gordon. "We intend to move through this process as quickly as possible. We believe that we are well positioned for a quick and successful restructuring in Chapter 11, and we intend to emerge a stronger and more competitive company." Ugh,
rough.
Awful.
Yeah, 20 down to 6 is that's a big drop. So you feel terrible for the folks who lost their job. You can only hope they had some inkling that it was coming. That's the worst when people are completely blindsided by this sort of thing. Who knows? I mean, it would be complete speculation for me to wonder how long this has been, the writing's been on the wall. It does look like they're going to try to restructure, so this doesn't mean Lumastream is going away. It, of course, shakes confidence, I'm sure, which is a big deal for any company, but I think especially relevant for a company like Lumastream. And the reason I say that is, they are a pioneer in this low voltage lighting market. And I think low voltage lighting as a whole, the biggest challenge that category has is confidence from builders and consumers, because it requires you to make a leap away from traditional Romex wiring, which has been around forever and everybody's comfortable with it. And so to make that leap of faith and go to something like low voltage lighting in the home, especially, is a big leap. So anytime you see a company like Lumastream having financial difficulties like this, it's definitely going to be a significant setback, I would say, for low voltage lighting as a category.
Yeah, and the technology these guys had, their booth just got bigger and bigger every year. You could go by and see the advances that they would make in both their fixtures, and how they were controlling light. I think these guys were showing off, color correction stuff well before it was kind of a popular thing, or at least right when it became popular. I noticed that their booth was showing that off, down to I think 1% dimming capabilities. They had some pretty impressive tech. So it says here that the company boasts thousands of commercial and residential installations, including 6 years worth of installations in Tesla showrooms. So if you've ever seen one of those Tesla showrooms, we actually have one here in town. All the lighting in there is it seems to be Lumastream, which I would never have known, I guess. If you go in one of those showrooms, it's a nice showroom, but they have some linear lighting and this, that, and the other. But I would not have known that the lights that were shining in that were any different from the lights that are across the way in the Apple Store or some other Victoria's Secret or some other random mall store. It all looks fine to me. Their lights always worked.
Right. Yeah, a couple tactical things here. Lumastream will not accept new orders at this time. They're working with customers, quote, "working with our customers to meet all obligations on open orders." They will provide remote support to customers with new and existing installations. And then one other interesting thing of note, it said, as word of the organization spreads, Lumastream is eliciting more interest from potential investors than ever before, especially among dealers and other channel partners, according to company founder and chairman Eric Higgs. So looks like people from the channel rallying around to help financially here, and only time will tell if that's a wise move or not. But I can certainly see the immediate business case for wanting to help Lumastream stay afloat. Again, low voltage lighting is a big deal in terms of an infrastructural investment. It's not a light lift to make the commitment to go to that technology, both in an individual home and then as an integrator to support that product is a big investment. And so this is really unfortunate. I hope that the company and the dealer base is able to navigate this with minimal pain, frankly.
Yeah, and Chapter 11 is not obviously the people who are laid off, but Chapter 11 is not a complete destruction of the company. Chapter 11 is reorg.
Right. It's a restructure. Yeah.
So I think it kind of puts the debt on hold for a little bit, and you can kind of see if you can get your feet back underneath you. Not a painless process to go through by any measure, but hopefully they will come out the other side of this, like you said, stronger and more competitive company. Because I'd love to see a company like them stay around. I'm serious when I say, like, I saw these guys way back when I worked for Claire Controls. We were in our little booth at Claire, and I looked over and saw this guy sitting at a table showing off. It was like literally one of those 10 by 10 booths, with a table on it, and he was showing off low voltage lighting. And I'm like, well, that's really a cool idea, This is years ago, and they slowly built, and then it sucks to see it go this way, but hopefully they'll be able to hire everybody back and get back on track here.
Right. All right, well, moving on from there, the past couple of weeks have been a roller coaster ride for Sonos. The smart speaker maker ended 2019 with a record quarter, selling close to 3 million devices and growing its fiscal Q1 revenue by 13%. Then Sonos faced the backlash that we talked about on the show, Seth, from some of its most loyal customers over a decision to end support for older devices. Let's also not forget the decision for the company to sue Google for patent infringement. Now, there's another development that hasn't gotten nearly as much attention, but could prove just as important for Sonos in the long run. In the last corner, Sonos quietly began experimenting with services as a way to generate recurring revenue. It's a notable change for the company with their long focus on hardware sales alone. So they began trialing a service called Flex in the Netherlands last quarter. Again, this has been kind of quiet here, but this service offers consumers the option to rent Sonos speakers starting at around $16.50 US per month. Quote, basically buying Sonos as a service, end quote, said Sonos CEO Patrick Spence. They've also began reselling dedicated music services to stores, hairdressers, and other businesses in the last couple of months.
This is very interesting. Now, Jason, I have an offer for you. You got a few rooms in your house. Would you like to outfit your house with some nice wireless audio system for maybe like, I don't know, $50 a month? Would you do it?
I don't think I would.
Yeah, I was just looking at the price. I'm like, that's not so bad. Maybe for like one speaker, but then for a whole house of them, I mean, that gets expensive pretty quickly. Not as expensive as, nearly expensive as buying, a bunch of Play Ones and putting them around the house. Your upfront costs at least. But it's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like $16.50 a month. So I got several rooms. Like you said, I'd be like $50 a month. I mean, after a few months, I could have just bought them. So I don't know. Like, I was trying to think of something witty and funny to say, but in all honesty, like, does it include anything else, right? Like, are premium services packaged with it, for example, like a Sonos, a Spotify subscription or Apple Music subscription? Like, I feel like if they were maybe to go down that route, they could make the economics a little more attractive because they might be able to get deals with their scale that they could then pass along to me as a consumer. I don't know. Sonos is not a dumb, there's a lot of smart people working at Sonos, so I got to think that they've done some research and they've figured out that this might be an attractive offering, but I don't know. I have trouble seeing how it would work.
If you go to,
for me as a consumer,
if you go to flex.sonos.com, you can see how it would work. I mean, you can see how it would work because they have pretty pictures, but I cannot read how it will work because it's all in
you can't
Swedish
read that
chef language. I have no idea what this is. I cannot read this at all. Yeah, these words. I mean, I can read a little bit of German if I cross my eyes, but I cannot read Swedish. What do they speak here? Where is this at?
This is in the Netherlands, and I just used Chrome's translate function. So, yes, from €15 a month, you get here you go. That's okay. This makes more sense. From starting at €15 a month, you get as many Sonos as you want, as long as you want.
Oh, so you just return them when you're done.
So it's not. Yeah, it's okay. So like, here's one, €25 per month. You get a Sonos Beam and 2 Sonos One.
Ah,
so it's not per speaker.
Gotcha. Interesting.
It's like packages. So the economics there make a lot more sense with that in mind. Free installation, they'll come set it up for you.
So now is it more attractive to you? At €25 a month, would you get a little beam and surround sound system?
Well, I'm definitely one of those people that's got like sort of monthly billing, starting to get like monthly billing fatigue.
Right.
You know? That's a real thing, I think. And so that said, I have a ton of things that are on monthly that I love having them that way, just the recurring, and it's easy. But this to me, no, not super attractive to me. I'm probably not the target market. I listen to very little music these days, so I'm definitely not the target market, I guess. Anyways, interesting though. It is interesting.
I can see how this could be good for certain people who like to do this kind of thing. Like just I rent an audio system for a couple of months if I like it, and maybe return it or something after that. I don't know. Does it say on the page? Because I'm still kind of like looking around if there's like a minimum time that you have to keep it around, or is it? I don't see that either.
No, I don't see anything to that effect.
There's literally no fine print on this page. This is like the font is huge on my screen. So
yeah, it is a very like, I don't know if it's just to me as an American, this site looks very like
scammy.
Not scammy, like it just looks. It looks kind of dated, I guess.
Yeah. It's.
It looks like an old website, right? Is what it looks like.
They threw it together. I don't know. I mean, it is a trial thing that they're rolling out. So,
anyways,
yeah.
Tangent, but yeah, it says more is coming. There's a quote here. We definitely see the opportunity for services that can augment the opportunity for our customers. Spence said, "You'll see us experiment with some things, and you'll see us scale them based on what's working." So, I think good for them. Like, my opinions aside about the value of the service, I like seeing companies be experimental and innovate, and that's how you figure stuff out. You got to go through that messy process of doing things that don't work to find what does, and so I like it. I'll be interested to see how this develops.
Yeah, and they are fighting deeper pockets that are providing cheaper products, right? So Google, Amazon, Apple. Well, maybe not Apple, but they're fighting deep pockets for their war for the audio in the living room kind of situation. So will be, like you said, will be interesting. There was in the story that we'll link to, there was a number of things about how IKEA that was the boost of their sale there at the end of 2019, because they had the IKEA. I can't remember the name of them. Symfonisk speakers.
Yep.
And so they evidently did pretty well with those. And but they said that according to the financials, if you look at them, the IKEA bringing in a lot of new customers isn't really worth that much to the company. But then they say just yet, because if you think about it, if IKEA is bringing these in and then Sonos starts going after end users and consumers with some kind of subscription plan, maybe they offer their own music services through Sonos, or they start getting kickbacks on Apple Music subscriptions or Amazon subscriptions. Who knows what this looks like? Those customers that have Sonos devices and Sonos ecosystems inside their house are going to be a lot more valuable to the company.
Right. No, that makes sense. So anyways, very, very interesting. We'll be curious to see how this goes, if they find success with it, and if they scale it up. I know it's not infrequent that I talk to integrators who are those who are kind of really thinking out long term about the future of the industry and the whole idea of home technology as a service, AV as a service. It's a fun thought exercise, if nothing else. I don't know how the economics of that end up working out and the viability of it, but it is intriguing to think about, where that may all head.
Just went to rentatheater.com. It's parked on GoDaddy, so somebody owns it.
There you go.
Sony has introduced a new remote control for its I'm not going to make it through this without laughing. A new TV for Jason, this is horrible. Sony has introduced a new remote control for its TVs in Japan, and you most likely won't be using it in your sofa. The device, spotted by The Verge, isn't just a remote control. It's also a wireless speaker that you can bring around the house with you. It looks like
Oh, this is beautiful.
it looks like a typical speaker when viewed from the side, and it's bulky enough that it won't disappear into thin air or, between the cushions of your couch.
Definitely won't disappear into thin air.
As soon as, the top panel, however, has all the buttons you expect. All the buttons. Let me repeat this.
This thing
all
won't disappear anywhere.
All right. The top panel has all the buttons that you'd expect a remote to have, except its volume adjuster is a big giant knob. The remote speaker hybrid will be out in Japan on February 22nd and is now available for pre-order in Japan for, 20,000 yen, which is $182 US. I don't know, Jason. I think I'm going to have to get on, get one of these.
I think I think they must have hired their industrial designer from what's the name of that? Jitterbug.
Well,
yeah, old people, the phones
yes.
for the elderly.
Yes.
That's what this looks like. It looks like a Jitterbug remote.
Well, I mean, it could have its place, right?
What do they make those? I've seen those too, like giant IR remote.
Oh, yeah. You see them at Walgreens or CVS.
The gag gifts, yeah.
So you can walk
That's what it looks
around
like.
with this remote, and the TV sound comes wirelessly from the TV to the remote, or does it? I don't know. This sounds fascinating to me now.
Yeah, that's the impression I get. It'll play the TV sound. So I guess that that's kind of in certain applications that's kind of useful. I feel like, because when you have I know sometimes if we watch TV in the bedroom, the TV is kind of far away, so you got to really turn it up to hear the dialogue. But then an action scene comes and it's blaring loud, gonna wake up the kids. So having a speaker that you could set maybe on the nightstand in a bedroom, that would be kind of cool. I did read that this has the ability to plug headphones into it too. I know some of I think Roku remotes have that ability where you can plug headphones right into the remote, so your sound comes through the headphones. So that idea of being able to take the sound from the TV and put it somewhere else, there are some applications there where it's kind of useful, but it's certainly not pretty.
If you're interested in getting one, the model number is the SRS-LSR200, which implies there was a 100 at some point in time. So it's also wire. I mean, it's completely wireless.
It got lost in the couch.
Yeah, so it's completely wireless. It has batteries and a little battery charger thing you can set it on too. It says 13 hours of battery usage, I guess.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, here you go. Company says you can use the device to, say, watch TV from across the house without having to crank up the volume. Splash proof. You can use it in the kitchen while cooking. So I could see that. Our TV is kind of far away, and we could put it, if you're in the kitchen and you wanted to watch something other than Bubble Guppies.
I don't know, like Peppa Pig? Is that...
Sorry. I'm jaded.
Or Frozen, as we were talking about on the show. Yeah. It's all that plays on TVs these
Moana.
days. Oh, yeah.
Anyways, interesting. Go take a look at it. Won't be going in my house, but under the banner of experimentation.
Yeah,
there you go.
And I think it also could be useful experimentation, right? This actually, like you said, does have it's oddly designed. I will give you that. Oh, it has a little bamboo handle. Jason, I've got to get one of these.
Oh, I'm sold.
The little, you can see in the picture there.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, it flips up. It has little bamboo handles. You can just walk around the house with this. Set it down while you're doing the dishes, clean up. I'm going to take all my laughs back. I think this is...
Just throw the bamboo handle on it. It sets in.
It's a little bit... Look how that's designed. That's perfect. So, yeah.
It's cute.
I'm gonna say this is 2020's. This is the best thing that's come out of ISE. This is 2020's new product of the year. I'm settled.
There you have it. Seth's
I'm gonna buy a TV just for this. I'm gonna buy a Sony TV. I don't have a Sony TV.
A complete 180. All right. Well, moving on here. After Disney Plus, HBO Max, and Peacock, were you hoping to see another puffed up media company launch a streaming TV service? because according to CNBC, Seth, that's what you're about to get. Reports have surfaced that ViacomCBS, and this reporter is not snarky at all, by the way, have surfaced ViacomCBS not just satisfied with offering streaming services like CBS All Access, BET Plus, or Nickelodeon's multi-year partnership with Netflix. The company is now planning, in addition to that, those offerings to launch some kind of mega offering which combines many of these properties. Apparently, the plan is to keep existing services operating while marketing the larger umbrella subscription as an upgrade that doesn't cost additional money. I have no idea what that means. Similar to AT&T, AT&T's HBO Max, NBC's Universal Peacock, or the Disney Plus Hulu ESPN bundle, the idea is that a combination of live sports, movies, and kids programming will pull customers in no matter how fatigued they may be. And this reporter is very clearly fatigued.
Yeah, well, I feel like I just had a stroke listening to all that. I mean, I wasn't sure a minute ago. What
I thought about rewriting the lead, but,
No, it was just like the dump of AT&T, HBO Max, NBC, Universal Peacock, Disney Plus, Hulu, ESPN Plus. Like, yeah, I mean, I guess all these are out there. They all have their little corners of the market that they've cornered. And, I'm happy with Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Now, which I guess we'll have to transfer over to HBO Max. So I'm happy with those so far, but there are a couple of shows that I've seen come on like Hulu that I've wanted to see. So I'm, may go in and turn that on and off on an as needed basis, to go back and watch some shows. So I don't know. It's interesting to get this. So like a combination of things. It's always nice to see them bundling things back together, and hopefully.
Yeah, I'm just confused about it. So first of all, it's like incredibly difficult to keep track of these massive conglomerates like CBS and
who owns
what, and like I can't even begin to wrap my brain around it. But the thing that confuses me more is it says apparently the plan is to keep these services operating while marketing the umbrella as an upgrade that doesn't cost additional money. So I guess maybe what they're saying is you would get all of those individual services for just the aggregate price of what each would cost you separately, like the sum of that without paying a premium. But what makes it attractive then? I would think at least you'd get a discount. So I don't know. I'm a little confused by it, but clearly the takeaway is more streaming, more services, more options, and that's the new normal. And we all just need to get used to it and stop complaining about it. Like this reporter, like this is actually not to me a problem. Like you're fatigued, get over it. This is options. To me, options are a good thing. So
yeah, it is a combined options of all of these services into kind of like what HBO Max is doing for HBO Now and all the other properties that AT&T sucked up when they did their big buyout of whatever they bought. I don't even remember now. It's so confusing. But it's almost like we're getting back to the point where we have cable companies that aren't really cable companies. They are going to be just an app. Like it's either you get the Disney app, you get the AT&T app, or you get the ViacomCBS app. And those are the three choices you have. I guess it's better than just having the choice of one cable company. We still have that monopoly to kind of get over, but at least you can kind of pick and choose what fits your taste better and buy it that way. And hopefully for a price under, like it says, under $10 a month. It'd be nice to have.
Right.
All the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found at our show notes at HomeTech.fm/290. While you're there, don't forget to sign up for our weekly newsletter, which includes even further analysis as well as other industry news that may or may not have made the show. Again, that link is HomeTech.fm/290.
Absolutely. And don't forget, you can join us live in the chat room Wednesday evenings, typically starting around 7 or 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Find out more at HomeTech.fm/live or follow us on Twitter at HomeTech Podcast, and we'll send out those tweets typically at least around 10-15 minutes before we jump on air. And you can come hang out live. It's always a good time.
We got Bruno in the chat. He says he's in Hong Kong. Everything's okay there. So glad to hear that. Longtime friend of the show, Bruno, hanging out there in China. Kind of scary place to be, according to everything you watch on the news these days. But stay well, my friend.
Yeah, no kidding. Indeed. All right, Seth. Well, let's move on. We've got big pick of the week this week. This is big news. There's kind of two parts to this. I think one of them is I'm really happy about. The other one, everyone seems like they're super happy about. And to me, I'm like, it wasn't really bothering me. But Netflix autoplay.
The national nightmare is over.
So this is like, apparently this was really pissing people off. I did not realize that. The next episode one always bothered me a little, and only around one specific use case, if I would fall asleep.
Yep.
That was the worst. Like if I fell asleep and then I woke up and I'm like, whoa, what happened? And, I didn't know if I missed half an episode and a half. Like I had to go back and figure that out. So I'm glad I can now disable that. But the other one that everyone is kind of like celebrating over, I didn't realize this was like such a hot button issue. The autoplay previews. I like those. Am I like the only one?
Well, no, you're not.
I feel like I'm the only one.
You're not the only one. I liked them. The problem is that I would just watch the previews for at least an hour, and my wife was like, "Just pick something." I was like, "Well, no, I really don't want to watch anything. I'll watch all these previews. I feel like I've seen all these shows now, and I can just go to bed happy." But yeah, no, we're totally excited to turn that one off. I don't think I would mind that one as much if the sound didn't come on. Like if it was just the thing playing in the background, like whatever, preview. And if I wanted to watch it, I can kind of like click into it or something and get the sound. Kind of like your web browser does these days with like video. If there's video on a web page that you go to, it'll start playing, but it won't, like the web browser itself will mute the audio, and then you'll have to go and, no, I really want to listen to that. Oh, you can play it. Like that's what we should have. I mean, that would be a good middle ground. But
right.
I always, hated turning it on to Netflix and getting into the thing, and then like having some weird preview of some strange show pop up, and having to like quickly jump off of it onto something else, or just trying to move the cursor around until it, until I found what I was looking for. It's kind of like hot potato. Like, don't stop there too long; it'll start playing on you.
Yeah, you get like sucked into the trailer black hole.
Yeah, exactly. We just never watch anything. I just watch trailers all night. So, and the autoplay that one. Now, see, that one didn't bother me too much, but I have occasionally fallen asleep and then woken up to have finished a series, and like, probably good to go ahead and just turn that one off. But I do like that feature. I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted on that one.
Yeah, I'm conflicted a little bit too. I think the ideal scenario, if I could wave my magic wand, would be that it still comes up and prompts you to where you just simply click OK, and it'll play the next one without having to navigate back out.
I think it does that.
Or whatever.
I think it does that.
Right. So I like that, but like the default is today, if you don't do anything, then it keeps playing.
Right.
And that to me is problematic, because if you fall asleep, which I want to do, it's one of the few times I watch Netflix these days is
when you can fall asleep.
We're laying in bed and we have a show, and it's one of the few times that I watch it.
Right.
So I don't know, but I didn't realize this was like such a source of national outrage.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think the previews one was probably the biggest one, and like I said, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
Well, and that's what's interesting to me, because I really like those.
Yeah.
But
if it was just muted, I think I would be fine. But like, it wasn't muted, and playing hot potato to like, or just hitting mute and browsing Netflix on mute was kind of pretty common around here for a while. So I don't know. I do have one quick pick, one more pick of the week, I guess we can kind of throw in here, and it's actually not on Netflix but on Amazon. Yeah, it's on Amazon, and it just moved over there. They just popped up with 2 seasons of this show. It's called Counterpart. It's I think it was on Stars or something like that. It had 2 seasons. It's really an interesting show. It's like a Cold War. I don't know how to explain it. It's a Cold War show based in Berlin. It's got J.K. Simmons, the guy that's on like the Spider-Man movies.
And sorry, this is on Amazon?
Amazon.
Said?
Yeah, it's called Counterpart. I've been watching that and really, really pleased with everything that comes out of the show. From what I heard is that it didn't get renewed, so it's only 2 seasons. They put an end on it. Like, if you just want a show to watch that's actually kind of smart and fun to watch, watch it. Because every episode I've watched so far has been interesting, held me on the edge of my seat and wanted me to see, what the next thing was. And J.K. Simmons is actually a pretty good actor. He's always fun to watch. So,
awesome. Yeah, always.
I can't say too much about it because it gives away too much of the show, but it's a neat show.
Always looking for new shows. Anthony in the chat room started season 4 of Better Call Saul. I'm going to be all over that. I love that show, and I saw the new episodes up on Netflix recently, so I'm assuming that's what he's talking about. And
is that the Breaking Bad thing?
Yeah, it's like the prequel.
Yeah. Those shows were too dark for me. I mean, I say that they were just like,
yeah.
I'm not in the mental space these days to watch that type of show. I really am going to have to. It's going to be a while before I get back into that, right? I don't know. Just not. You kind of have to be in the mindset.
I get
it. Yeah.
Well, speaking of dark, we're watching You right now. Have you watched that one?
You
just YOU.
What's it on?
It's on Netflix. I think originally it was on a different one, but it's on Netflix now, and I think there's 2 seasons. We're almost through season 1, and it's a good one. I mean, it's kind of silly, but it's like a stalker. This guy's like stalking this girl that he met, and there's this whole. It's got some stylistic elements that again are kind of out there and silly, but if you're looking for a light, entertaining but kind of dark, it's a good one. Check it out.
So it's a comedy. It's not. It says this is a psychological thriller.
Yeah, but no, it's sort of ridiculous and out there. Like there are times where you'll laugh, but yeah, it's dark. So if that's not your thing, stay away from this one.
Look at the description Anthony put in the chat there. One Tree Hill Stalker edition.
Anyways, we need like a "What are you watching?" segment on HomeTech. There's so much good, there's so much stuff out there to choose from. But
it absolutely is gold. Oh, and I guess I will throw another pick of the week too. Just like this may not be for everyone. The Little America series on Apple TV. Have you seen the British baking show thing? Have you seen that?
I have not.
Okay, so on Netflix, if you want something that is the most lovely television show you will ever watch in your life, it's called I think it's called like British Baking Show. I think it's like very, very. It's got two people on it that are judges, and then they have like basically they do a bake off and they cook British food, and it is the most lovely and entertaining, happy show you will ever watch in your life. If you just want to feel good, if you had a bad day,
need to pick me up.
Put that on. Yet they make beautiful food and they make bad food depending on what happens. But typically there's really good desserts and British baking type things happening. And then the characters on there, the people that run it, do such a great job. It's just delightful to watch. And I kind of got that same feeling when I watched this Little America series that just came out on Apple TV Plus. If you have that service, check that out. Pretty fun too. So
very cool.
Every single episode I've watched has made me smile at the end of it. Like it's just a feel good show, and there's things in it you're like, oh, this is gonna make me feel sad or wrong or something's gonna go wrong here, and they just kind of make you laugh. Like so, I don't know. Just check that one out if you want a feel good show. Yeah. Those two. Yeah,
well, we could certainly use more of that these days. Definitely.
Totally the opposite of Better Call Saul.
And You, yeah.
and You.
Like, I can't figure out why I'm in such a bad mood all the time.
Yeah, right.
Well, that'll do it for our impromptu This Week in Streaming on HomeTech. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any feedback, questions, comments, shows that you like, picks of the week, or great ideas for a show topic or guest, give us a shout. We would love to hear from you. Our email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm. Again, that's feedback@HomeTech.fm, or visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form.
And we want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about our Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support. Learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out on the show. But every pledge, gets you a quick automated invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather every day to chat about what you're watching on TV. Because
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
what
right.
we're talking about.
And if you're looking for other ways to support the show, we would definitely appreciate you leaving us a review on iTunes or in your podcast app of choice. Those reviews definitely help more people find the show. So if you enjoy the show here, help spread the good word by taking a few minutes to go and leave a review. We would really appreciate it.
Yep. And finally, HomeTech is a proud member of the Technology.fm collective of podcasts. If you like podcasts about home technology, you can find other great shows like Home On, the Smart Home Show, and DTNS over there at Technology.fm.
Absolutely. All right, Seth. Well, I hope you have a great Valentine's Day and fun show here this week. I'll look forward to reconnecting with you again next week.
Sounds good, man. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right. Take care.